What's going on with me? I can't get these images out of my mind. Those black creatures. How do they know me? Who was I before this? What?
Find them before they escape!
In a franchise with bubbly characters, bright colors, and banger music, you really expect them to have depressing stories. This franchise has over multiple different characters that have experienced some type of tragedy, that ranging from the obsession of the never-ending fight with the blue rat, all the way to being made in a lab to be used as a tool. If these stories are written correctly, we are able to feel for the character and how they are moving forward. You already got a snippet of one of the character's struggles at the beginning, Shadow the Hedgehog, so why don't we dig a bit deeper into him? Shadow origins started on Space Colony Ark in space under Project Shadow, a plan for the government to achieve immortality and the needs to create a weapon. In order to pull this off, they appointed the smartest scientist they know at the time, Gerald Robotnik, to lead the project. Originally unwilling to do it, he realized by doing this, it could help him find a cure for his granddaughter Maria's incurable disease. After his creation, Maria and Shadow would meet, and the two would be stuck in space together for a long time.
The professor said his life's work was dedicated to all of those who live down there. He once told that the reason for his existence was making people happy through the power of science.
Shadow.
Maria, I just don't know anything anymore. I often wonder why I was created, what my purpose is for being here. Maybe if I go down there, I will find the answers. Maybe.
Maria taught Shadow how to be kind and help others, and with that, Shadow would do anything for Maria, because she was technically the closest thing that Shadow had to a family. But, unfortunately,
Maria!
the government, fearing of the dangers of Project Shadow, they initiated Operation Ark Seal Destruction and planned to execute every researcher on board and arrest Gerald and destroy any evidence of Project Shadow. Because of this, Gerald orders Shadow and Maria to run to the escape pods. As they reach the escape pods, Maria is fatally shot in the back in front of Shadow, traumatizing him. As a last-ditch effort, Maria used the last of her strength to launch Shadow down into Earth, with her final words being,
People who live on that planet, give them a chance to be happy. Let them live for their dreams. Shadow, I know you can do it. That's the reason why you were brought into this world.
Shortly after he was launched, he was discovered on Earth and was put into stasis for 50 years. And Gerald, after being arrested and placed into Prison Island, discovering Maria's death, he went mad with grief and planned to plot revenge on humanity by brainwashing Shadow to do his bidding once he is freed from stasis, to pull revenge on humanity thinking it was Maria's last wish. And this is where the story ends for Shadow for 50 years. Well, till you know. But as the story goes on, we actually see how Shadow's soul is actually based off Maria's and his emotional bond with him. During the Prison Island heist, he refused to lose another friend due to Rouge being trapped in a vault which was going to explode. He was willing to rush back onto the exploding island and to save Rouge because it reminds him so much as her. But around the end of the game, due to Amy, due to how much he acted so much towards her, Shadow remembered his actual promise to Maria.
I beg of you,
Maria!
give them a chance to be happy.
With this feeling, Shadow was willing to sacrifice himself for the people of the planet to finally fulfill Maria's wish. Until the events of Sonic Heroes, where this poor Hedgehog goes through a horrible identity crisis. From the moment he's returned, he lost all his memory and is filled with amnesia. And this is what he's dealing with the next 2 games. He is either thinking he's a clone or a robot, depending on what path you choose and how you feel. You feel bad for the poor guy. He lost his best friend, he lost his memories, and he doesn't know if he's a real person or not. But as we go through Sonic Heroes, we finally accept who we are. Shadow accepts himself and who he truly meant to be. Real or not, he's Shadow the Hedgehog. But then Shadow the Hedgehog happens, and that's completely thrown out the window, and any resolution was just burned. But as we go through Shadow the Hedgehog, we learn the truth about what happened that fateful day, who we really are, the people we affected. We continue to look for answers, but especially, we don't give up. No matter what ending you choose, because this game has multiple endings and it doesn't matter, during the true ending of the game, we discover we are the real Shadow the Hedgehog, and we're gonna honor Maria's promise to protect humanity, and he's finally willing to accept himself as who he is, the real Shadow the Hedgehog. And by Sonic 06, he is working with the very same organization who killed his best friend, showing he's willing to grow and move on, think for himself, and especially be his own person. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention one thing. Shadow was created by using the Black Arm's DNA, an immortal alien species. With this, Shadow is immortal, and he can never die of old age. As his friends grow older, Shadow will continue to say the same, and unless he dies by some other means, he will witness all his friends die, and will end up alone one day. You want someone from the comics? Well, I'm glad you ask! Serge the Tenric is a character created by Dr. Starline, an evil scientist who was a huge fanboy over Eggman under a plan he called Operation Remastered, a plan to end Eggman and Sonic's rivalry in order to conquer the world by controlling the hero versus villain dynamic and take over the Eggman Empire. In order to do this, Starline kidnapped her and another person by the name Ikitsunami the Fennec and put them through hours of testing and psychological torture and drama by brainwashing them to hate Sonic and to replace him the hero of this world. Kitsunami's only purpose was to follow Serge and replace Tails, making them a broken duo of pain and suffering just following orders. By doing this, they also infused them with power cores, the 3 power cores from Sonic Heroes, in order to be stronger and to do numerous tests. And every time they would rebel or question why they're doing any of this, Starling would hypnotize them with stronger and stronger doses each time. Because of this made Serge so hellbent on killing Sonic and was willing to sacrifice herself multiple times to kill the Blue Rat, and has failed on their first encounter really badly. During their first encounter, Sonic was just telling her his values in life as they fight and how he believes everyone deserves freedom and a choice to be happy, but Serge believes she was wronged by the world and saw herself as an outcast. And after almost falling to her death, Serge discovers the Dynamo Cage, a tool which would increase her power and was able to fight and hold against Sonic the next time they fought. Because of this increased power, she had a much stronger mind, but she started to hallucinate the now fallen Dr. Starline, telling her that she's nowhere safe from him and she will always belong to him because of how he shaped her mind and body, establishing to the reader that she suffers from PTSD. And this make us feel bad for what she was turned into. And her final encounter is the writing of this video. Serge and Sonic was fighting alongside Eggman, Tails, Metal, with Serge telling Sonic she will never be free unless he is dead, before passing out due to the Dynamo Cage overloading and breaking. All the abuse she has dealt with, all the trauma she was given, all because she was used for a task and hypnotized because of platypus obsession of being better than an egg-shaped doctor. She turned a once innocent girl into a killer machine. Starline as a villain isn't too bad, but he lacks the fear and terror like multiple other villains throughout the series. But it feels like someone has done his job very well for a very long time. Since the beginning, the Doctor has been seen as this monster who enslaved animals, caused mass destruction, a narcissist who puts everything on his face on it to tell everyone this is his world, and he will do nothing till he conquers it. It seems very prominent in every game, messing with time, awakening a god, actually taking over the world, but he has failed every single time. How many times the Doctor has failed? He won't give up. But why? What is his purpose? What is he doing this for? His pride? His ego? To prove a point? Eggman has fallen through the cycle of just trying to beat Sonic over and over again. And almost every time he's willing to kill him with no remorse. Especially in Sonic Adventure 2. Eggman launched him out of the Ark, expecting to kill him, only for him to miraculously live because of the fake Chaos Emerald. And at the end of that game, there was a small chance Eggman could have changed due to Gerald almost killing them all. But we also know how that turned out. So why does Eggman want to do any of this? Well, in Frontiers, get a bit of the Doctor's past. Very little information, but enough to give us a hint of his family life. His jealousy over Maria.
I never really knew my cousin Maria. Everyone spoke of her like she was very special. All that love for someone who was gone when I was right there. But I have to wonder, back then, was she anything like Sage is now?
With the information we can assume, Eggman was probably neglected at a young age. Behind all the whole mass destruction, animal kidnapping, giant robots Eggman can do, Eggman could be looking for a family to love. Maybe that's something he's been missing in his whole life. Well, that's where one of Eggman's newest creation comes in. Sage. Originally an AI to take over the Starfall Islands system, the Doctor has created something to care and love for. With this newfound love, what is preventing him from doing worse? What is stopping him from destroying the world just to make it a home for her? The Doctor now has a reason to do all the terrible things now, and maybe even worse. Not just for himself, but for someone else. After years and years losing to Sonic, losing to his friends, and losing everything over and over and over again, he finally has a reason to keep going. What does this mean for Eggman as a character moving forward? I don't know. The Doctor has done multiple horrible things in TV shows, games, and the comics. Will he be a nicer person? Probably not. Does this mean he has the potential to be even worse? Most likely.
Hey, want me to try and explain the Ancients despite some of its confusing plot points? Well, you're in luck!
The story of the Ancients is a very sad one. Originally a peaceful species living a happy life on a planet, with children, family, elders, and lovers. It was all going so well, till their home is gone. Family ripped apart, their home planet destroyed. All gone due to a powerful entity called the Yen. All because it can, and the manifestation of death. Needing to escape, they were forced to create the Chaos Engines using the Chaos Emeralds, which now is canon, but the Chaos Emeralds are from space. With this, they escape into space, hoping to find a new world, but because of the Master Emerald responding to the Chaos Emeralds on Sonic's world, they were poured towards the planet, getting stranded and lost. But instead of losing hope, they tried to fulfill their used-to-be life, and started to live a new life. But in the event the end never shows up again, they store their dreams, memories, and hopes into cyberspace. So whatever ever species comes, they will be able to dissect it. Speaking of cyberspace, the Ancients are very intelligent and outshine most modern technology with weapons and robots known as the Titans to protect them. Lovers, children, and elders once again enjoyed their new life, until the elders informed about the thing that destroyed their very planet has returned. As in desperation, the Ancients do everything in their power to stop it, but the defenses have failed, and almost all of them has been wiped out. They decide to power the Titans with the Chaos Emeralds. 4 of the Ancients piloted the 4 Titans we are to fight: Giganto, Varen, Knight, and Supreme. And they all went into space to fight it, but no matter how strong they were no match for it. Till Supreme decided to do the ultimate sacrifice, sealing the end inside of cyberspace, but killing him in the process. This gave the rest of the Titans to give him a fighting chance. Any survivors fled and went into hiding onto Angel Island, and any that stand on the Starfall Island later died. According to Eggman, they died a generation later, and their souls became Coco. Centuries later, Sonic came around, and he sees the devastation the end did to them. The flashbacks of a happy life, trying to live peacefully. And as we go throughout the Starfall Islands, it feels like their souls are missing some type of completion or acceptance in their life. As the player, we try to finish any loose ends of the past and make them feel some type of completion, letting them be free from this world. But as you know, we are manipulated and tricked throughout the game to release the end from the cyberspace, releasing the very thing that ended the species. As a final attempt, we along with Sage decides to avenge the fallen species. Then it talks to us as we go into space. We are gold light in an endless void. A tough journey we have been through. Well, a very long time. We've been with Sonic for almost 30 years. We've seen the Blue Hedgehog had a rough few decades. Bad games, rough dialogue, mixed opinions. But despite all that, we pushed through to fight the very franchise we enjoy and the adventures has been on. We have fought gods and machines. We have fought impossible odds. So why fall now? Avenge those that have fallen and shine a new light of hope for this very species and to us over this franchise.